Thank you very much, Mr. Witness. We appreciate you coming to share all of this experience with us. And we'll use this time to ask you some questions.
Sure.
So you can throw light on some of the things you say or clarify what we may not have heard properly.
Go ahead.
The first thing is that during the early...
excuse me. This is the picture I have for my former people, Doe and his group.
Okay. You want to give that to us?
Yeah, if you want it.
Thank you very much.
I can take it.
Thank you very much.
Or some people want to make copy.
Okay, I will ask 3 straight and direct questions.
Mm-hmm.
Of all members of the PRC, those you just presented to us, do you know how many of them are still alive? That is one.
Yes.
That is one. How many of them are still alive? And if you know where they are, you can say.
I know Jeffrey Batu still living in North Carolina. And Tawo still living.
Tawo?
Tawo.
Oh, Tawo.
Tawo from I think Tawo from Lofa. And Alberto from Kepamas is still living. He's a representative now in Liberia. When he came here, he sent for me. I met with him.
He's in Liberia now?
Yes, in Liberia. He went back.
Alberto.
I think Kalongo Gonyon still living.
Where is he?
He is in Liberia.
Who's that person?
Kalongo Gonyon.
Those that I could remember. Topman still living.
What kind of Topman?
Topman is right here.
J.B. Topman?
Yeah, J.B. Topman. Yeah, that's it, J.B. No.
They were all original members of the council, the PRC. Okay, thank you. During the early days of the coup, as you stated, you spent about 3 months in a mansion with the late president. Can you tell us if during that period you learned how the coup was staged, how it was organized, and what happened? And then the second question to that is information on how the initial 13 persons were executed, what led to the execution, how the decision was taken, and why they were summarily executed.
Yeah, the first question was what?
The first question was the coup, how the coup was organized. How it came together, who led the coup.
Well, according to the information I got, I was not in Monrovia when the coup took place.
Yes.
But still, I got some information. Robert Zuo, the late Robert Zuo, is there. He was the armed room personnel at the mansion. When they were organizing the coup, that the arm in mansion that they wanted to use. That day, he told the people he was cleaning the arms being too dirty, and he was cleaning the whole place because he was there for a whole day until in the evening. So each time they come, they say, "But Robert, why you been here for long?" He said, "This place is too dirty, so I got to clean it." So he cleaned it. Then in the evening, time for them to go to the mansion, some of them don't want to go. So according to what I heard, Thomas Kumba told them, if any of you refuse to go, I think I will cause people to know that we're going to do this. That's the time they all, because they started from BTC, he said, every one of you people got to go before me so we can go to the mansion. They passed to the back of the mansion and climbed on the fence and got in. And when they got there, the big coming was the officer of the day at that time. So when they got there, he the one who led them from floor to floor. He will be the first to go and tell the security, put down your arm. And whosoever doesn't put down his arm, he will be killed. But you know, we Liberian people, we are afraid of those things there. So they would right away put down their arm. From first floor to the floor where President was living. And then we got there a lieutenant. He's a pale young man. I'm forgetting his name. He was at President Doe as security. So when they got there, they told him to give his arm. He took his pistol, he wanted to shoot him, so they shot him right there and killed him. Then they went inside to Tolbert, according to the information I heard. When they went inside to Tolbert, I think Pennant was the first person who shot Tolbert.
Pennant,
yes. So I had to kill Tolbert.
so they were all from BTC and not part of the battalion at the executive branch.
Yes, that's it.
Then the execution.
The execution, I don't know much about it. The same way, we all heard it, that they had arrested these people and they put them to post-stacking. And then I only saw the people planting those poles. But I was told that, when I asked, I was told that the poles were planted because they want to execute some people. I was not present when the execution went on. But I heard it because I don't want to go there to go see it.
But you were very close to Doe at the time.
I was close to Doe, to be frank. I was close to Doe. Because I can't say that Doe is not living today. What happened between him and myself, I'm going to lie on him. No.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Umu?
Thank you very much for coming to share your experience. Now, this will be a follow-up question to what the chairman just asked. You said you were very close to Doe, and then initially you said Doe was not a bad man, but the advisor that was with him. So I'm just wondering as to what kind of advice Doe was given at that time, because you've been very close to him.
Yes, I told you.
The execution of the 13 person.
The execution, when the execution was done, I was not as close to Doe as I used to be, because when he arrested all of my friends, the officers, and put them to grandstand in BDC, I was the cause of him releasing all of them. Each time they release somebody, you will come to me and thank me. You will come and thank me. Those that they execute, I know some of them very well. But I have been in that position at that time. I know I'm going to take some sort of position, because they never used to tell me no. But there are a whole lot of advisors around him now. That's the reason why I was unable to tell you anything.
Now, I'll be asking 2 more questions, then maybe at the end you'll be able to answer the 2 questions. You said usually you carry people on the executive marching ground, and sometimes they ask him to put in lie under the sun, and you intervene and talk on behalf of the people that were good, they were released. So what happened to the other people, and why were they arrested? That's one. And another question was, at one point in time you were in prison and said that you were planning to overthrow the government. You were released. Could you name the other people that were in prison that time, and what happened to them? Thank you.
Your first question, the last question, I understand it. The first one, I didn't understand it.
At sometimes they used to arrest people and carry them on the executive ground, and you identify people that were good. You talk to the former president and you release them. So the question is, why were they arrested? What happened to the other people that you didn't talk for?
The time they were doing a lot of arrest, I have already spent enough time with Doe, and Tomakumpa had asked me to go and be with him. And I was with Tomakumpa at that time. was not there. But even though when he went to do some things, he used to call me. Like when Western business came, he sent for me. He said, "Go get Tomakumba. I want to see both of you." And we went there. He told Tomakumba, he said, "Send soldier to go arrest Western." Thomas said, "Chief, what happened?" He said, "Mr. Commanding General, I told you, arrest Western because Western want to kill you and myself." So he said, "But Chief, we can't investigate among ourselves before we do. Why you telling me?" So after Thomas and myself left his office, he sent people himself. And they went and arrested Western to ELWA Junction there because they were coming from Basa playing football. So that what happened? Your second question was what?
The people that were arrested on the executive ground?
Okay, I already gave you the answer. I said I was not as close as I used to be. When Doe myself were together, whatever I said to him, he would listen to me. But we were many now. And then I was not close to him like before.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Captain Doe, for coming. I'd just like to ask you one or two questions. Talking about, you mentioned that there were a number of advisors around Doe. The chairman asked you a question earlier about the executions. Where were you at the time of the executions? And if you were around and had an idea, who were some of those that participated in the decision that led to the execution of the Ethiopian officials? That's one. The other question is, what were the reasons, would you believe, that led to the execution of Wessin, the 13 commandos, and what was the role of Dr. George Bowley in all of this?
All right. Your first question, please forgive me, because we are a little bit far apart from one another. That's why I now understand here clear. I want to understand clear so I give you clear answer. The first question was what?
You said you were close to Doe,
Uh-huh.
and you came to the mansion right after the coup, and the technical government officials were not executed on the day of the coup. They were executed some days later. Where were you at the time the decision was made to execute those government officials, and who were those that made that decision, that constituted that body to decide on execution of the technical officials? That's the first question.
Okay, you want me to answer that?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, let me answer that. When the list was made, I was nowhere around, no more around. The very bully that you're talking about, he was one of those who was with Doe at that time. So when it comes on that, I do not know. The part I play, that what I told you people, like the officer was arrested when the coup took place newly. I got all of them out from where they were in confinement. But these people making their list for them to be executed, what I heard was they were corrupt. They did not help Liberian people. They did not help Liberia. That's the reason why they have them to be executed.
According to what you heard, who were those who made the decision to execute?
Okay, the people who made a decision, that were the council member.
Were there...
And their advisors.
There were stories that there were some civilian politicians, such as Dr. Tipote, Dr. Sawyer, Dr. Fambule, who were part of that decision. Can you corroborate that these people were a part of that decision, or this was the decision of strictly the military men?
I must be honest with you. Those were some of the advisors. But for me to sit down here and say that they were there, I cannot tell you. But they were, all of them, almost, they were the advisor to the people.
Now, the execution of Thomas Wesson, what was the root cause? The 13 commandos who were executed shortly after that. What were the reasons that led to the execution of these commandos? There were reports that...
Oh, you mean the officers?
Thomas Wesson and the 13 commandos who were executed.
Well, those say Wesson want to overthrow them, their regime. That's why he told Thomas Kumpa in his office when Thomas and myself went there.
Did it have anything to do with money?
Huh?
Did his execution have anything to do with money?
Do what?
With money that was supposedly retrieved from the late president's house in Bensonville.
Okay, I went to President's house in Bensonville. I asked Doe, I said, Chief, have you ever sent somebody to Bensonville? Because I heard some of the soldiers went there and they burst into a safe and took some money from there. He said, hey, Lou, you are here with me. Why you can't go there? I said, how will I go there? You got to give me order. I can't take myself and go to the place. He said, okay, but where is Patrick Tuazama? I said, I don't know. Even though I knew where Patrick was. I said, I don't know. He said, why? I said, because I heard that some of your tribal boys want to kill Patrick Tuazama. He said, but who told you so? Then Glay was standing right there. Glay said, what Lou said is right. Some of our boys been looking for Patrick to kill him. So he said, Lou, but you can't get Patrick? I said, I will try. Because when the coup took place, somebody took Patrick and hid him somewhere, and he came to me and told me, and said, we have Patrick somewhere in somebody's warehouse. I said, you're keeping there until I talk to Doe. So when this time came, I told him, I said, I will try and get Patrick. So Patrick's brother, who they call Samuel Doe, he was a SSS man. So I called him, I told him, because we all are one. I said, Doe would like to see Patrick. He said, oh, Kalongo, they will kill the man. I said, before they kill Patrick, I will be the first person, because I'm putting my life on line for him. Before they brought Patrick, when they brought Patrick, Patrick came to me first. So I said, Patrick, don't be afraid. Nothing's going to happen to you. Let's go to the marshal. Patrick and myself went to the marshal. When we went to the marshal, he said, Patrick, don't be afraid. Lou already told me about you. So be calm. You will select your own security to be guarding you, people that you trust. But I want to ask you a question. Then Doe had asked me this question before that. They heard that Tolbert buried money in a grave. I told him Tolbert did not bury any money in the grave, because I was also close to Tolbert in my civilian life and in my military life. So he asked Patrick. Patrick said, no, Tolbert did not bury any money in the grave. What happened? We were about to travel out of Liberia. So the money we were carrying, the money is supposed to be in Bensonville to his house. So he said, okay, I'm going to appoint some of you people to go there, but the four person who I want you to handle everything is Kalongo Luo. He said, DQ Nimle, Bole, and 9 Crown soldiers including Patrick. He said, your goal. But the person who I would like for you to handle everything is Kalongo Luo. Because he's the one that I trust. I said, okay, we went. And luckily for us, for us to bust the door, it took us 4 hours. But when we bust the door, we got into the room. The first room we got into, that was his dress room. Those soldiers started fighting over the men's clothes. And I was observing them. So when we went in his bedroom, we got a locker that these 3 presidential beds were inside. Patrick said, this is the locker that we had the bed in here. So we took it. When we took it, it was locked. We wanted to throw it down through from second floor. Then the whole thing came out. Then when we want to pull it down, it went back again and locked. So we repeat the whole thing again. Then it came out, and I grabbed it. They set it down. I hauled the drawers. Then I start taking the thing. I saw a whole lot of bank paper. I saw $20 gold coin. I saw $25 gold coin. I saw $100 gold coin. That the gold was biting our money. And the 3 bags, one black, one blue, one white. I took everything, I put in one of the trays. And we carried downstairs and put in the gray Jaguar that Tobo was using. Bullet was driving it. So we left. And the soldier was riding a jeep. So we left, we went in Monrovia, we reported the whole thing. Then Bullet told me, he told Patrick and myself, Patrick was the only person who knew how to open those bags, because he's the butler to Tolbert. So Bullet told Patrick and myself that your go home will be out the whole day. We all are exhausted. So you go home and come back 5 o'clock. So Patrick can open these bags so we can look into it and see what is there. After we left, we came home. Behind us, they took Bennett and bought those bags. How I managed to know that money was in it, it was the man who was those AD camp. He was a man boy, General C. from Ghana. When we got there, I went to Doe Street. I said, Chief, we are here. So he told me, he said, oh, Bole told me so papers were in those bags. I said, no, it's not true. He said, well, that's what Bole told me. So the half hour I went, half hour I stopped. I can't pass there. I don't want to argue with the man. So the young man, when I was about to go out, he followed me. He said, in man, he said, go make it. He said, my man, what happened? Your brother kind of money to the people. Okay, the money business, Wesen got to know, Tomokumba got to know, and all the council people got to know. When Tomo is aware and Wesen is aware, you know, all the council people got to know. So they went in meeting for that money business. They told Doe and Bole to bring the money. The money was not for them, it was for Liberian people. Because when Thomas then come from there, he was sometimes breathe me too. But there was no hay, no tail to that money. But Wesen was following that money business all the time, telling Doe to bring the money. If he doesn't bring the money, it will not be good. So my analysis, that how I get to say that Wesen was not planning no coup for Doe at the money business.
So Wesen was framed.
Huh?
So you believe that the late Thomas Wesen was framed by Doe because of the money?
Yes.
And you think this was influenced by some of his advisors who were around him, such as Dr. Bole, who went with you to retrieve this money?
Well, it could be, because Bole, they're the one who handled the money. And he especially, because he was the secretary to do at that time.
So the other council members who were executed, were the execution also linked to their demand for accountability for that money as the reason why they were executed, or there were plans by them to overthrow Doe?
Well, that question I can't answer it because what I know is Western was really pushing Doe for this money business, but this overthrow business, when Doe called Thomas and myself, that why he told Thomas, he said Western wanted to overthrow